Hey, what's up, everyone? And hi, Lindsay. So you got your book? Hooray! That's awesome. Super proud of you, and thanks for taking the initiative to, just keep practicing and following the initiative, and just you know, basically, it makes a teacher happy when you see that students are engaged and that they follow instructions and try their best and keep trying to improve. So thank you. I appreciate that. That makes me wanting to help you that much more easy, or that much easier. In addition to now you can really start cooking with some of your different patterns in reading. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of time for this video, and last time the video went really long, so I wanted to make sure that this was a little bit quicker but still comprehensive for you. Okay, so first thing, and what we've been doing is with this book, Lesson 7. And for those of you that haven't bought the books, some of my, students, but other people that aren't officially my students but online that I help and give lessons with, they'll go ahead and just buy this book. It's only $10, so, and if you're just getting started and you're reading notation, how to count, how to recognize visually what note values there are, and then how to count them with your syllable counts, then it's going to make it that much easier once you get into playing full patterns or more advanced stuff, because you're already going to know how to read it and read groups and notes and how to count your syllables. Okay, so lesson 7 from this book, that's what I'm referring to, and that's what Lindsay, and please check out her channel. Lindsay is a great drummer, and getting started on her journey. Been playing, I think you said, for 2 years now, and is just learning to read and count properly and all that. So I've just been helping her with that. But lesson 7, that's the one that we went over in the last video, and that's just all on the snare drum. It's meant for articulation and getting your skill up. So just quickly, number 1 is 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. And you can see the syllables written above the notes. 2 is 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 and 4. Quarter note on beat 4, eighth notes on beat 3, 16ths on beat 1 and 2. Number 3, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 and 4 and. So it just has an and on the eighth note after beat 4, which is just one note difference from number 2. Next one, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3, 4. Really important to give the space between these notes. So a good way to do that is to count an and in between your quarter notes to kind of give you the space of when the quarter notes happen. We say notes have either a long or short value. Quarter notes have a long value because they take up a long amount of space, right? Eighth note's a little shorter. 16th, short notes. Okay, so that's what we refer to them with. With this one, where you just have a quarter note on beat 3 and beat 4, beat 3 and beat 4, you want to make sure that you give the amount of space that's necessary for a quarter note. So by doing that, if you count it, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 and 4 and. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 and. Then it'll kind of give you the space between your quarter notes rather than rushing to get to the next note of 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3, 4. 1 E and a, 2, that kind of thing. You want to give the space according to each note value. Okay, quickly cooking through this. Then after you've got that one on beats 3 and 4, back to lesson 8 again. Sorry, looking backwards and trying to count this. Okay, then you have 1 E and a, 2 and, 3 E and a, 4 and. Dot, 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 dot. Then number 6, that's the one that starts with eighth notes first. This is the first one out of all of these. You can see you're starting with 16ths first. Number 6, you're starting with eighths. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4. We have a quarter note on beat 4. Sounds like 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4. Okay? Last but not least, 7 and 8. So with number 7, we have 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and Okay? The number 8, quarter note on beat 1, 1, 2 E and 3, 4 E and then back to beat 1. So boom, da 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 boom, da 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 boom. Okay? So just to refresh your memory, because once we start playing patterns in this book, it's going to make all that much more sense of how you're playing your 16th note patterns with full grooves, how you're recognizing groups of notes, how you can use lesson 7. Lesson 7, literally, you can use any one of these as a drum fill. Any one. Or solo, or practice double strokes with it. So I'll go straight down the page quickly. And I'm meaning 1 through 8, straight down the page without any repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4. And 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and... Sorry. Okay, so that's lesson 8. So then, once we get into reading full patterns in this book, in Lindsay, where I'd recommend starting first is just on page 14. So page 14, that's the one that has patterns that you've already played from the rock patterns page. The pattern that I showed you before in the last video, where just our primary pattern of 1 and 3 looks like this. Hopefully I can find one quickly. I know I've got a student out there waiting for me. Oh, here's one. This page. So remember, number 1, that's our primary pattern. Just 1 and 3 on the bass drum, 2 and 4 on the snare. So all these patterns that we were playing and practicing, that kind of stuff, which are all stacked patterns. And remember how I said you want to practice them 3 different ways. Just because they're written as 8s doesn't mean you don't want to practice them single stroke 16ths, one-handed 16ths, and so forth, okay? So, once we get into this book, you're going to recognize that pattern number 1 here, it's pattern number 4 from this page. That's all it is. Just looks a little different because it's in the book. Okay? So these are just 8th notes. They're kind of more rockin' patterns, and they just add more 8th notes. Like down here you have like a and 1 and, or an and 3 and, that kind of thing, where they're adding 3 8th notes instead of just 2. So page 14 is the first one I would start on. Practice these for a little bit. Then after you get used to just playing the stack patterns and adding more 8th notes down here, not just 1 and 3, you want to be able to play with 8th notes, okay? Then we get into syncopation. Syncopation starts on page 21 on this page, Lindsay and everyone else, if you get this book. So this figure right here we call a dotted 8th tied to a 16th, okay? It's always going to sound like the first and the last of a group of 4 16th notes. So it's always going to sound like the 1 and the the rock sign, okay? Or on B3, wherever they put it in the pattern, but it always sounds like the 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see my hands are up in the air when that 16th note comes down here. Because if you're playing 8th notes up here and 16ths down here, they're not going to stack. Now, if you play 16ths up here and you play 16ths down here, then they will stack. For instance, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. So now it all stacks. 8ths, it doesn't. Okay, so those are the very first 2 pages I would try to kind of get used to. And really, what we all do at first, Lindsay, and I got a student right now, yeah, I got to start, but is we call it the stutter, because your right side wants to do what your right side wants to do, right? What we intend to do is keep straight 8s going with our right hand. So we mean to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, 3, up, 1, up. But what ends up happening, and I did the same thing when I first learned it. It happens to everyone. So don't get frustrated or think that you're less than, or that you're having problems that other people don't. That's not the case at all. What we do is 1, 2, and 3, 4. So hear that extra note. So we call that the stutter instead of. And I'm just raising my motion, I'm exaggerating my motion, because at first that helps you to figure out how to fit that note in on the bass drum, okay? So page 21 and page 14 out of this book, now that you've got it. And I gotta go, but this is gonna be the first upload I do, and then after my last student here, I'll finish another video for you, okay? Happy drumming, hope that helps. But yeah, that's so sick, you got this drum set book. And we'll keep going through it. And then next comes page 25, which is all about playing 16th notes on the ride pattern, or hi-hat or ride. We refer to it as a ride pattern. All right, take care, everyone. Happy drumming.